Yeah, so Game of Thrones, obviously there will be a comparison because of the period and the fantasy aspect of it. I actually shared the first look with them, and they absolutely loved it. My mother loved it, my sisters loved it, my wife loves it.
Hello, everybody. Today we have Mr. Handsome Hunk Milind Soman with us to talk about his upcoming show and a lot more. So, could you tell us what the show is about, and could you tell us about your character?
So the character here for me is very, very different. Paurashpur itself, I think, is probably the first medieval fantasy that we have on Indian OTT. So I think it will definitely stand out in terms of the look, in terms of the styling, in terms of the visual effects and all of that. And I think they have made a great effort to create very, very interesting individual characters. And they did come to me first with the role of the king that Anu Kapoor is playing so well now. And but I said, I don't want to play a king because to me, it was too obvious, a choice as character. So I noticed this other character called Boris, who is a eunuch. And I said, okay, this is something, this kind of personality, this kind of presence is something that I've never explored before, and maybe this would be interesting. And at that time it was not even developed fully as a character, so it was really fun to be part of the development of the character, about the way he or she, I don't know how you have to refer to Boris. He refers to himself as he, and but he believes that he's neither man nor woman, so but he still refers to himself as he. It was interesting also developing the look, the way the hair would be, the way whether there would be a bindi or not, the kind of jewelry, the kind of attitude, the kind of clothes, everything was, I was part of the development. So that was very exciting. It was very exciting. And finally to see it, to see the trailer and to see the images that are coming out, and especially with the other characters, it's very, very interesting even for me to see that.
As you said, the character was still in development when you read about it. So
Yes.
What kind of contributions did you have to the characters?
How the character responds to situations in the story, maybe what he wants to say. So they were very collaborative. Like in some scenes, I said that, maybe we can mention something like this. So I can't tell you what it was, otherwise I'll be revealing too much. But it was very, very, very collaborative. And I thought that, this series itself is interesting because it is a take on society. So we see that this is, of course, set many hundreds of years ago. We don't know exactly when, we don't know exactly where, but we also understand how much actually have we changed as a society in that many years. And we realize that it's really not that much, So that is something interesting. It's eye-opening.
Your character is being introduced to people just few weeks after, we've seen Akshay Kumar play not a similar, but also a third gender. So do you think that there might be some sort of comparisons between both the characters?
Definitely not once people see it, because I haven't seen Laxmii, the movie yet, but I've seen the trailer, and it's a completely different trailer. The character is completely, if you see the trailer of Paurashpur and Boris, and you see the trailer of Laxmii and Akshay Kumar in it, you know that it's completely different. Even the look is different, the portrayal is different, the character, personality, everything is completely different. So I'm sure there will be comparisons, but I'm sure those comparisons will prove that, they're two different, completely different characters. And I think that's very, very interesting.
When I saw the trailer, I had this very little but a reference to Game of Thrones, because even that show...
Don't lie, you didn't have a
I
little
did.
thought. You had a big thought. You said, oh my God, this is like the Indian Game of Thrones. Are they trying to do Game of Thrones? Yeah, so Game of Thrones, obviously there will be a comparison because of the period and the fantasy aspect of it. But I think I read all the books, and I read the books in 2012, all 6 books that have been written so far. And I watched only the last season of the actual series because I wanted to see the dragons, you know, and of course they were fantastic and the special effects were so great. But I think you can't really compare it because Game of Thrones has evolved over so many years, almost 20 years or more than 20 years. You know, the first book and then the second book and the third book, and the characters have evolved and so much that the writer must have learned through the responses to each and every book. And therefore, it can't be compared even character-wise or story-wise to a first series like this. And also, I'm sure the producers have tried to keep it, the characters as well, plus the story arc as far away from Game of Thrones as possible.
What kind of reactions did your friends and family have to the trailer, and you know, if they gave you any feedback?
Yeah, they loved it. They really loved it. So I don't really share a lot with my family that, you know, I'm doing this or I'm doing that or these are the projects. But when something comes up that's interesting, then they see it. They say, oh, we saw something online. What is it? What are you doing? So some of the work I do, they don't even notice. But this obviously was everywhere and people were commenting, and I actually shared the first look with them, and they absolutely loved it. My mother loved it, my sisters loved it, my wife loves it, you know, and they like it. I like to be surprised, you know, and they know that, and I do things that surprise me, you know. I like to explore something that I've never done before. So a lot of the things that I do and it comes up and they see it, they're also surprised. And most often, I would say 99% of the time, they like it.